Aussie. Aussie. Angry, Aussie. Angry.
Yellow chickens in charge. All right, got a picture. Got my little story. All right. Do my usual, make a video. It's also the usual, I thought I'd have this done before the stream. Turns out not so much. But, c'est la vie. Okay. Now, turning this on. Hello, Megaleech, by the way. Did I say hello? Hello. Just take me a couple of minutes to shoot this because this is not a short. Probably only, all things being equal, 5 minutes. Let's see how we go anyway. G'day, cocktail lovers. There's a car going past just as I start. G'day, cocktail lovers. Do you ever look at cocktail recipes and just think, why have they made this so complicated? Why are they telling me to have such obscure ingredients? No one has those ingredients. Why would you do that? I feel very much the same way a lot of the time. But what I'm here today to do is to borrow from the famous John Ronson book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, and just say we should not care so much about the really specific elements in complicated cocktails when wanting to make a version at home. Understand what the components are and how they go together, and you can experiment, and you should absolutely, in my book, not be bound by the idea I have to make it with this very specific ingredient. Yes, when you don't use the same ingredients as the original recipe, you will be creating a different cocktail. Often only a subtly different cocktail, sometimes probably a radically different cocktail, but inspired by the original. And you know what? Sometime yours might even be better. This has all come about because I found a cocktail recipe, and as I've confessed to before, I get attracted by the names of cocktails quite often. This one is called Midnight, the Stars, and You. That's the name of the song that closes out the Stanley Kubrick movie, The Shining. And in the movie, it's the bad guy, Jack Torrance's favorite. The character in the favorite drink of the character in the movie, Jack Torrance, is Jack Daniels. And this cocktail in its original form features Jack Daniels. It does call for an incredibly specific release of Jack Daniels. And then it's got some really finicky and obscure ingredients in there, but they belong to well-known families of ingredients. So I'm going to step you through the original recipe and the decisions I've made to adapt based on what I have on hand. All really just to encourage you to experiment. When someone puts forward a cocktail recipe, you just don't have the ingredients. Research the recipe, research the ingredients, see what they're like, and see what you have that's in that vein. As I said, even the Jack Daniels called for in here is a pretty obscure release of it, but it goes beyond that. There are two different Amaro Amari, and I've never heard of either of them. Amaro Sibila, which is supposed to be very intense, and Amaro Maleti. So I'm going to go with two Amaro I have. Speaking of intense, I'm going to go with Finet Branca, and one of my favorite Amaro Montenegro is going to go in here. For the whiskey, I don't have Jack Torrance's favorite. I have my favorite, this Archie Rose. For the whiskey, I don't have Jack Torrance's favorite. I have my favorite. Well, this is the one that came up first when I did a blind tasting of 16 whiskies recently. It's from Archie Rose in Sydney. It's their high test molasses rum single malt whiskey. The whiskey was aged in former rum casks. Great flavors. I really like this. Possibly the most obscure ingredient is a grappa and chamomile liqueur. That sounds like a real one-off to me. I actually have grappa. Most people are going to say, oh, come on, grappas are really obscure. But I picked some up recently, and because it's grappa and chamomile, so that's floral, I'm actually going to do a blend of grappa and some elderflower liqueur. As I said, it's going to be a different thing, but I think, floral grappa, I'm in the right ballpark. Without further ado, this is how we make the cocktail. In your mixing glass, put 1.5 ounces or 45 mils of the whiskey of your choice, and then put 1/2 ounce of one of the Amaro you're using, then 1/4 ounce of grappa, 1/4 ounce of elderflower liqueur, 1/4 ounce of a more bold Amaro, and then you put 7 drops of saline solution and 1 dash of the bitters of your choice. Garnish it with a citrus twist, and we have this Sazerac variation, Midnight, the Stars, and You. Well, I'm just going to say it. My choices have paid off. This is not as bitter as a Boulevardier, the way I've made it. Your choices could influence where it is on the bitterness scale for your tastes. But I just really wanted to say, don't be scared of complicated recipes. If you've never heard of ingredients, don't think you have to go out and get them because you'll never use them again. Just find out what their flavor profile is, what family of spirits or liqueurs they fit into, and then improvise. I mean, like I said, I will admit, I have some reasonably obscure ingredients in my collection. Not everyone does. Sensible people have a much more limited range than I do, but don't let that sensible people have a far more limited range of drinks than I do, but don't let that limit your horizons. Get out there, explore, improvise, because for me, fucking shit. Give it a go, explore, improvise, because for me, cocktail making is not just about hitting those classics, hitting someone else's recipe. It's also exploring, being creative, finding out what you like. I hope you give it a go. I hope to see you again soon. Until then, cheers. I should write scripts, but I don't because I just rattle on and on. All right, let us sit down, you and I. Oof. Turn that off. Bring my chair in. I don't think the chicken wants to give up charge, honestly. But let's get it on. Bang a gun, get it on. Get that away. And yes, Musical Aviator, it is. It is, in fact, the week that upsets the racists at Sky News very bigly. Okay, interesting point, Megalich, because I have got ChatGPT to write some short scripts, and it's proven to be not terrible at them, but for a longer script like that, I think ChatGPT would be less useful. And I'm kind of confident in coming up with the scripts myself. You know, I'm just unmotivated and end up doing stuff off the cuff rather than preparing a script, which isn't always the best. But mind you, I'm just making assumptions. You know what? Let's actually see what ChatGPT would have come up with. Oh God, sorry. I just need to look at it. ABC accused of bias over a joke about John Howard. Okay, well, this is an unbiased reporting. The Liberal Party legend was watching Day 3 of the Ashes at Lord's with former Socceroos boss turned Tottenham manager and Postigue, one of the country's most inspiring and successful leaders, and a former politician watching the cricket at Lord's. So yes, okay. So it is actually that classic form of humour of misdirect. John Howard's there with a guy who ran the Australian soccer team, and you start by saying one of the country's most inspiring and successful leaders. People think you're talking about Howard, but then you go, and a former politician. Yeah, that's actually classic comedic structure, set up and surprise. And it's fucking mild, honestly. Jesus Christ, I hate these people with a fucking passion, honestly. But we were going to go to Chat GPT. Log in with my Google account, because that's what I do. Okay, so I'm going to give it the recipe. I'm going to give it a recipe. Oh dear. Okay, so let's go. I need the recipe. This is on the Stars and You cocktail on the Punch Drink website. Okay. I'm going to give it the recipe and ask it to write a script. Write a script for a YouTube video detailing how to make a cocktail called Midnight, the Stars, and You. The recipe is okay. So that's a very simple prompt, and I'll fine tune the prompt after this. See what it says. Okay, so welcome back to our channel, Cocktail Enthusiasts. Today we have a very special drink to share with you called Midnight, the Stars and You. This unique cocktail combines the rich flavors of whiskey with a blend of Amaros, grappa meal, chamomile liqueur, and bitters. So let's get started. Mix up this exquisite concoction. Here for the recipe, you'll need the following ingredients, and it runs through the ingredients. Show each ingredient as it's mentioned. Host, now that we have the ingredients, let's start mixing our Midnight, the Stars and You cocktail. Grab a mixing glass filled with ice, add our whiskey. In this recipe, we prefer Jack Daniel's Master Distiller for its robust flavor. Let's add the Amaro Maletti. This Italian herbal liqueur adds a delightful bitter and sweet note to the cocktail. That's a great note. I didn't tell it to say that. That's a great note. Moving on, we'll add Milano, Miller, grappa, and chamomile liqueur. This unique combination brings a touch of floral elegance to the drink. That's also a great note. To enhance the complexity, now we'll add Amaro Sibilla. It's a fantastic herbal liqueur that adds depth to our cocktail. That's also a pretty good note. Now some saltiness. Add salt tincture, add a subtle saline touch to our drink. You make it by dissolving salt in water, but be sure to use it sparingly. That's a great note. Lastly, we enhance the aroma with burlesque bitters. These aromatic bitters bring out the best in our ingredients. Now the ingredients in the mixing glass, time to give it a good stir. Stir it. Perfect. Our cocktail's now well mixed and chilled. It's time to strain into a beautiful glass. Look at that beautiful color. Midnight Stars and You cocktail is now ready to be enjoyed. And there you have it, ladies and. It is a good color, actually. Okay, it put some really good notes in there. I'll give it that. Suggest some alternative ingredients if the viewer doesn't have the exact elements in the recipe. Thinking. We understand sometimes you might not have the exact ingredients. Don't worry, we've got you covered. Here's a few alternative ingredients. I'm really looking forward. Okay, it's written a lot. If you don't have Jack Daniel's Master Distiller, substitute another quality bourbon or Tennessee whiskey you enjoy. Experiment with different brands to find one that suits your taste. If you don't have Amaro Maletti, try substituting it with another herbal liqueur, such as a Verna or a Mazzotti. These alternatives will provide a similar bitter and sweet flavor. That's excellent result. The grappa chamomile liqueur. If you can't find this specific liqueur, you can try infusing chamomile tea into a plain grappa or brandy. Steep the tea in the spirit for a few hours or overnight to impart the chamomile flavor. That's an excellent tip. Amaro Sibilla not available. You can substitute it with another Amaro of your choice. Gina or Montenegro are good alternatives that will contribute the unique herbal and bitter characteristics to the cocktail. Salt tincture. Create a saline solution by mixing a small pinch of salt into water. Start with a few drops and adjust the taste. Remember to add it sparingly. The salt meant to enhance flavor subtly. If you don't have burlesque bitters, experiment with other aromatic bitters like Angostura or Peychaud's. These bitters will add complexity and depth to the cocktail, just like burlesque. Honestly, this is pretty good. So yeah, I might have spoken to what I, for me, because I want to put the script in my own voice. I think ChatGPT just outperformed my expectations. So what I might do in future is ask it to write me some scripts and then use those as a starting point and adjust it for me. And hello, Safa. We are talking to our future machine overlords. It's a personal question. What night was last night? Okay, it's kind of freaky that you say that because I think I got up at about 4 a.m. I'm starting to think Safa's looking through my bedroom window. Just saying. Man, that is pretty good. That is pretty good. All right. I might even do that for another one. God, what have I got coming up? Sorry, I'm now going to look at my Trello. I'm planning my upcoming videos. All right, Midnight, the Stars and You is now in doing. I don't really want it to. The scripts for shorts are so short. I don't know. But I think of what the next. I think the next full length one I was going to do was clarified. What do you call it? Clarified Pina Colada for Pina Colada Day, which is in about a week. Yes, I think you might be right about the Mega Leech. Actually, lemon, lime, and bitters, great drink. And in fact, a lot of the bottled or canned lemon, lime, and bitters are quite good. That's. And yeah, I'd probably have this again. This is bordering on an 8 out of 10. This is really interesting. A little bit of smokiness from the whiskey. Yum. Is my neighborhood generally safe? Yes, it's quiet as fuck, in fact. Although, apparently, a couple of years ago, my neighbors had some sort of home invasion. Never really got the details on it. But what am I drinking? Oh, that's right. Yeah, you missed me making the video. And I was just also talking to ChatGPT about how ChatGPT would have scripted the video. And honestly, ChatGPT's suggestions weren't terrible. So this is a whiskey-based drink called Midnight, the Stars and You. That is actually quite good. I'm loving it. I'm not going to make any more videos tonight, I don't think. I've got a bunch planned. I've actually got a bunch recorded, but I have a bunch planned as well. I found some recipes in the last day or two that I really like the sound of. There's actually some I've had on my to-do list for probably a couple of weeks, and I just haven't got around to it. So I've got 5 recorded that I have to edit. Oh, unless I fucked up and deleted one of them. I think I'm getting confused. It is fancy. Well, I've got one of my fancy big chunks of clear ice in there. It's an overly complicated drink with whiskey and Amaro and liqueur in it. Wait, if I look on my YouTube. Which YouTube? It's actually on Angry Aussie. Okay. Wait, where'd I put my phone? Oh, left my phone over here. Okay. Hellianne, hello, Kirsten. How are you this fine evening? God, I was going to look. I have the attention span of a fucking goldfish, honestly. I was going to look at something on my phone, but life's pretty good, Kirsten. Mick said a drink. And speaking of my drink reminded me of what I was going to do. I'm just going to look something up very quickly on my YouTube channel.
Where's my channel? My channel. Videos. Shorts. What shorts have I put up recently? No, I don't want to see them like that. I want to see the fucking titles. Manage videos? Okay. Try July. Midnight Bouquet. Didinia. Horse's Neck. Blood of My Enemies. Yolanda. Lioness. I think. See, I made a dumb mistake the other day and deleted some files off my camera when I hadn't actually used them. And I think I might have done it. That's okay. So I'm thinking that's one not so great and one positive. You're tired, but you also got husband back. So that's going to be good. What have I got here? A mate duck out and get something in a bit. Oh, no. Wow. I just caught up with Sydney friends, had a 7-course dinner. That sounds good. That's a Mexican food last night, which was quite nice. I also had what was without doubt the worst mojito I've ever had, possibly the worst cocktail I have ever had. It just tasted like soda water with too much lime juice in it. Like, I really did not want to drink it. It was unpleasant. Like 3 out of 10. The best way I can sum it up is if I had never had a mojito before and that was my first mojito, I would probably never ever order a mojito again because it was terrible. Yeah, it was very disappointing. It may be my new benchmark for worst cocktail I've ever had. Like quite often when I get shitty cocktails from places that aren't specialists in cocktails, it's just they're very lackluster and they're not very interesting flavors. And you go, yeah, I guess you don't know how to make a cocktail. That's okay. But this one, I actively did not want to drink it. I mean, it got a bit better towards the bottom, so I guess it was diluting or something, or maybe the sweetener was sitting at the bottom. But oof, it was just an all-around unpleasant, disappointing experience. I mean, I'm still going back to the venue because it's like my favorite Mexican food. I'm just never ordering a cocktail there again. Well, at least not a mojito. They actually have this big range of tequilas and mezcals, and they do a range of margaritas. They'd probably have a margarita there. Might even, they do tasting flights of tequila and mezcal, and that might be an interesting thing to do one time. Because it's certainly where I am least versed in spirit world is the agave spirits, the ones I know least about. Dontron, how are you going? I'm going fine. But that memory is wiped away with this cocktail that I made on spec just because I really like the name of it. Midnight, the Stars and You. It's a Boulevardier variation, which means it's an at least slightly bitter whiskey cocktail. And it is slightly bitter, but it's got really interesting blend of flavors in it. Some sweet and some herbal and some bitter, and the robustness of the whiskey. And the particular whiskey I used, some slight smokiness is coming through, which is from the barrel that it was aged in, I guess. So it is altogether really quite nice. 8 out of 10. And every time I rate cocktails, I say to myself, you know what, really got to start my blog up again where I can write these things down, including the ratings. So later on when I go, what cocktails did I rate 8 or 9 out of 10? I want to make them again. Man, but that is good. I would make that again. I would give that an 8 out of 10. That's what 8 out of 10 on the angry scale means. Means would have it again. 7 out of 10 is don't regret it, but probably wouldn't get it again because it was not that great. It was not terrible, but it's not so great I want it again. 9 out of 10 is it's so good I kind of want another one right now. 6 out of 10 is that was disappointing. And like I said, that mojito from last night, like about a 3 out of 10, like actively unpleasant. Really did not want to drink it. And here's the thing, I have never returned to drink. Every now and then I'm in places and they'll mention that because I get what to me seems like a more interesting cocktail and enjoy it. And they'll say something about, it's not for everyone. Some people return it. And I go, I think that's so fucking rude. If you make a decision to get something and saying like, take it back, I just can't do that. Even in the case where it was just badly made last night, so you know what? I don't want to give anyone a hard time. And here's Dontron. Is Elmo still feeling smug about firing the staff? Oh, again, no one knows for sure why Twitter is so broken today, but there's a strong train of thought that it's tied up in him owing $1 billion to Google for hosting, and the contract just ran out. So a lot of his hosting bandwidth is being cut off. It's weird. Hello, Dr. Abigail, by the way. I do think his destroying of the whole thing is just because he's stupid, incompetent, and egotistical. I've seen more than one person, far more than one person, get a bit conspiratorial about it. And right-wingers and oligarchs definitely did not like Twitter as a fairly open platform for public discourse that just had limits on hate speech, basically, but did let ordinary people circumvent media gatekeepers and potentially have some influence in public discourse. And yes, I would agree, Musk and oligarchs like him didn't like that element. But when people say he's paid $44 billion to deliberately destroy it, I think that's getting a bit too conspiratorial. And in fact, yes, that very wise saying, Dr. Abigail, never ascribe to malice that which can be adequately explained by incompetence. I do believe he's bollocksing it a mixture of hubris and incompetence. Oh, yeah, he said something about scraping. But no, it was, again, I want to stress, Dontron, I don't know for sure of this theory. It's being put about by people who seem to know what they're talking about. Musk will never admit to it. Google might go public with it. Who knows? And it also might not be true. It might not be true, but it might be. I don't even remember what community notes is. So yes, no, literally Musk, you can tell he's lying because his lips are moving. It's like that ridiculous thing about him having a cage fight with Mark Zuckerberg. That's never going to happen. Poor Ray, who was in the stream, he's very invested in it happening. And he is sadly seems to think that Musk would actually do well in it. I was like, I don't think so. And also, Musk is a non-serious person who deliberately lies as a matter of course, but also just randomly brain farts ridiculous, vapid shit that he has neither the intention nor capability to follow up on. So basically, literally whenever Musk makes a point or makes an announcement, you are quite safe assuming what he's saying is not true and will never happen. Oh, that one. Community notes. Yes. Okay. I have seen that recently. And it's very funny how often community notes have appeared under ridiculous shit he said, refuting his ridiculous fuckery. Ugh, he's such an idiot, honestly. He is a very unserious person. He is to be ignored, really. He's such a fucking clown. Oh, man, that was good. All right. When do my barrel things come out again? I'm obsessively looking at... I'm going to leave things in there for a month. What's it? Second. So, right, that's my port. It's just staying there whenever. 17th. I think that's my liqueur. 6th. That's my old-fashioned. So that comes out this week. All right. Looking forward to that. Ooh, and Foodening is good. Oh, Jesus. Dontron. No. This is the stream of random conversation topics. Pivoting on what do the Yanks say? Turn on a dime. Pivoting 180 degrees at a moment's notice. There are times where I might be on a particular train and I'm not going to respond to something in chat straight away. But at the moment, I'm well good with just, hey, you know what I thought of or what I saw the other day, and I can see where it goes. So it's like Mrs. Angry asks me the next day, like, what did you talk about on the stream? And I'm like, well, hell if I know, because seriously, the topic of conversation changes every 90 seconds to 5 minutes, and trying to keep that clear, where actually all my mental energy gets expended in just trying to stay coherent for a couple of hours. And on an average week, it could be 20 hours. It's between 10 and 20 hours in an average week that I'm doing these and trying to be oh, yeah, actually. Oh, my God. That is such a good idea. I have told her about the AI art. I should just show her the AI art with no explanation. There are vigilante groups. Oh, man, that's going to be nasty. So, yes, because the protesters are mainly immigrants. So I could just see, because there's a very strong white nationalist body in France. I did not see that in the news, but that sounds eminently predictable and unpleasant. And also, I think we should have some AI art that's something like Elmo Mush with servers melting down. That's a prompt. I'm just going to get something about out of my fridge. No, wait, I don't want the banners. I want to put some elevator music on while Chicken's in charge. Daydreaming. That sounds like fun. All right, I'm only going to be like 30 or 60 seconds, but Chicken's in charge in the meantime. All right, I'll leave chicken for just another second longer. Yeah. Yes. Yes. I just realised I have some things I bought that I haven't tasted. So I need to do that. Oh, the music's getting funky. Alright, but I might turn the funky music down for now. And also, chicken is no longer in charge. I'm back. So I realized I was running out of brandy the other day, so I got some and got this really funky bottle. It was on special at Dan's. And it's such a funky bottle, I might keep it. But it'll be, I don't drink that much brandy, so it'll actually be a long time before this is emptied. Why did this thing to open it fail me? All right, that's a bit, oh, for fuck's sake, honestly. Hate it when the things that are meant to help you open a bottle don't fucking work. Damn you to hell. Oh, good, we've got some AI art up. Good. I'm just struggling with this fucking brandy. God damn it. God damn it. Damn you all to hell. You went, no, finally got it. So VSOP, very special old pale. So this is matured for a longer time. All right. So I'm just going to taste it. Ooh, nice pop. Also, let's get some ASMR. I'll put it right next to the microphone for glug, glug, glug. There was a lot of glug, glug for just pouring out a tiny amount. All right. Now, what is happening on the Discord? Okay. Come on, Discord. Up your load. AI art. A server room melting down with melted plastic pooling on the cement floor and a blue bird logo on the wall. Nice. Nice prompt. Okay. I'm going to load a couple of these. Oh, there's a lot of them. Oh, there's a lot of them. Okay. They just keep on coming. Okay. Let's go. Okay. First, from the skull of my enemies, cognac. Well, that's fairly pleasant. Ooh, that's actually really quite good. That's like a mix of grapes and golden syrup. Actually pretty good. Anyway, some of the Twitter meltdown AI art. Yeah, I like that. The bluebird actually melting into some blue goop on the floor. That's not bad. Oh, I love this one. The bluebird appears to be singing. There's like musical notes, and it's like the bluebird shat all over the floor, which again, good metaphor for what Elmo's doing, quite honestly. What else is there? Oh yeah, the bird's getting a bit more abstract, and the blue goo on the floor. And there's this one. Oh, that's like ghostly, and it's like the stuff running down. It's almost like it's been spray painted on the wall by a street artist. Kind of like that one. All right. Yeah, clicked on the wrong button. Share screen. There we go. This one, the servers are actually melting down with magma. That's an extreme meltdown right there. Actually melting down with magma. And this one's a bit more like fire, and the bird logo has completely mutated. That could be what's happening. And again, another mutated abstract bird logo, but server's on fire. Some rumors are that's not that far from the truth. And one more. Oh, that's just subtle. Oh, that's actually, I guess, not that subtle. Server's melting. It'll be interesting if we find out more. Musical Aviator, that's interesting. You can't see Twitter posts when logged out of Twitter. Well, he keeps doing stupid shit and fucking things up. So yeah, you know, probably did that. That's a pretty happening thing. There's a very rich flavor, that one, and I know exactly what I'm going to do with it. Oh man, that is okay. That was a purchase purely because it was on special. That's worked out very well. Where's my jigger? It's hiding. You'd be really careful what you say, or could be construed wrongly if I start saying, jig is hiding everywhere in the woodpile. Tim Smith, not at all, really. Okay, well, I'm not zero blood alcohol. I had a drink. And what are we? Almost an hour in. So I'm just going to make one more. Going to make myself an old fashioned with this new rye whiskey I got. Drop the fucking stopper. Shit. Right, just a second. I'm just going to grab that. Which may be my favourite rye I've ever tasted, but it's so full. We'll get some more glug, glug, glug when I pour some out. So more ASMR. I love how much noise it made, and I only poured a little bit out. Put that there. I'm going to put a bit of my spiced sugar syrup in. Just a little. It's probably enough. And then some of this cognac. Blended old fashioned. And again, a little bit more ASMR. It's a fun noise. Yep, Safa, I'm what it says on the label. I'm very progressive and forward-thinking in all things except cocktails, where I am old-fashioned. A huge bit of ice in here. And stir it. All right. This one's very dark. The other one I made was a bit more. Oh, it's basically because of that brown sugar syrup I put in that it's so dark. Oh, fuck yeah. Oh, yeah. If I'd have used a lighter sugar syrup, it would have been lighter in appearance. Zafa, I mean, I know you're having a bit of fun and having a joke there, but that's literally true. Like, my two favorite cocktails are probably the old fashioned and the martini, which is about the most conservative choice. Very, very old school choice for favorite martinis. So, yeah, I know you were having a bit of a joke there, but it's also kind of accurate. It's the one area where I'm conservative and like where I object to anyone who puts vodka in a cocktail or tries to do the James Bond thing, shaken, not stirred, which is El Stupido. That's my official take on that. Well, the fun thing about being a right winger out of me, that when I used to really, be going out of my way to upset the Conservatives, one of the things that upset them is I drank cocktails rather than straight booze. Not manly to drink cocktails. Sorry, just randomly a troll thing popped into my head. I think next International Men's Day, I might make a really pink fruity cocktail, like mix some of my red liqueurs with cream or whatever and shake it up so it's really frothy and put it in a martini glass. That would be funny. Dontron, that seems to be what they were suggesting. It's like, well, I'm just putting some stuff together where I like the flavors, and they were trying to make a political thing out of it. So, Kirsten, you're up for me making a pink fruity thing for International Men's Day? Ooh, fragile masculinity. That's an excellent one. That is brilliant. A man-shaped teeny. Oh, God. And you just reminded me of those fucking protein shakes that they insist on giving names like Man Shake. Safa, can't make a Bond martini. Oh, okay. So if you go literally the recipe as made, as described in Ian Fleming's Casino Royale, the wine modifier he calls for is Quina Lillet, which technically doesn't exist anymore. Now, the makers of Quina Lillet have a product on the market called Lillet Blanc, which they say is basically the same. A lot of people say it isn't. That the original Quina Lillet, because Quina is a reference to quina, cinchona bark, cinnamon. It's bitter, and so the actual literal ingredient mentioned was doesn't exist anymore. But there are plenty of products on the market that taste basically what it would have tasted. Oh, I can imagine that. Men sending cocktail back because of glass. I saw someone, I don't know if it was an article or a YouTube video, but they were talking about how they got men to buy more cocktails by showing the shape of the glass it would be served in on the menu, because then the men would go, okay, that's in a man's glass, I'll get that. That's in a lady's glass, I'm not getting that. Okay, so Safa, why did they stop making it? I don't know. Why does anyone do anything? Okay, pubs. And I'm thinking New South Wales here with schooner glasses, but I think they do it with pint glasses here in Melbourne too. But anyway, I think whether in New South Wales in schooner glasses, they literally have two sorts of schooner glasses, the larger glasses. One is a very sort of straight masculine one, and one is a sort of curvy, more feminine one for the ladies. And this is true. A lot of pubs in New South Wales have two different styles of schooner glasses. One is just a straight up man's glass, and one is a more curvy, one for the ladies. And true story, this is quite a few years ago, but I was visiting Dubbo. I was in the RSL club with my brother, and it was my turn to go up to the bar. And he just wanted a schooner or two he's new. So I'm going up to get it, and I was most of the way to the bar, and he shouted an instruction to me. And I think it was one of those weird moments where the place goes a little bit quieter, and so he didn't have to shout quite that loud, but he did. And so it carried to everyone in the place. I'm just up there. I'm halfway up there, and he shouted, "And make sure they don't put it in a poofter's glass." Oh my God. Oh my God. Yes, Don Tron. I also agree. Idris Elba would probably be an extremely good Bond, but he gets to make a whole bunch of other things. Kirsten, yes, I think you're right. I think I might have seen it on a TikTok. Might have been repurposed into a short on YouTube as well. The Hurricane glass works best for hazy IPAs. Men hate those too. I have a Hurricane glass. Dr. Abigail, while you were transitioning, before you're out full-time, and you went to gay and lesbian bars to get introduced to many drinks. Nice. But if you ordered those at work events, you got some weird side-eye. Well, okay, before I got properly into cocktails, it became a running joke at YouTube meetups. They'd go in pubs, and I wasn't really drinking alcohol, but I'd look on, if we're in a venue that had cocktails, I'd look on the menu and get the girliest sounding drink on the menu, because they usually didn't taste like alcohol. They had alcohol in them, but they didn't really taste like alcohol. So that was a running joke for a number of years, that I would always deliberately get the girliest sounding drink on the menu. But that's a whole thing. Oh, fragile glasculinity is a great term though, Kirsten. I love it. I'm going to try and remember it. I use it in a video. My God, that's just so weird. I think I've got a Hurricane glass that might be from Planet Hollywood in Sydney. That, because Planet Hollywood hasn't been in a thing in Sydney forever. But I kept a glass. Wait, now I'm just compelled. I think I got all my glass down here. Now I'm just compelled to look. All right, let's move this over here, because I really don't want to knock my camera over, so I'll put it out of the way. Yes, I'll show it actually. I think this is a Hurricane glass. So this is my only Hurricane glass. Hurricane glass, Planet Hollywood, Sydney. It's the thing where you like fill it with crushed ice and then put colourful things in it. I'll just put it back now. No wipes? Okay. I'm going to show this. I don't even know where this came from. I think Mrs. Angry might have picked it up somewhere. But I want to show it off because it's beautiful. I occasionally, for my channel, make a tiki drink in this. Let's see if we get the reflection off. Besides being a nice shape, it's got these leaves etched in. I'm not sure if it's coming through. These leaves, maybe against that background. Leaves etched into the glass. It's a really nice glass. Just putting it back. What's this one? God, I actually have some pretty cool glasses in here. I have a few glasses that were like gift packs from stuff, and they're basically different sorts of rocks glasses. They're pretty cool. Yeah, haven't thought about Planet Hollywood in a decade. Well, it hasn't been a thing in so long. Oh yeah, you can do that as a hobby. You can get stuff to etch into glass. Ooh, you actually okay, that's getting hardcore if you're doing it by hand. Grinding wheel with industrial diamonds. That would actually be a cool hobby. Get the right sort of thing so you don't breathe any glass dust in or get it in your eyes. Oh, that was interesting, Dr. Abigail. People thinking you were gay, and then they found out you're trans, and they went, "Oh, that's what's going on." Okay. Lapidary wheels. Okay. It's also cousin of that. You wouldn't use this on glass, but you can use it on other things. I've considered getting into a Dremel. A lot of crafters have. How? Okay, Dontra. Now I go. You've got glass all over your body, hundreds of splinters in each hand, foot. What job or recreation has gotten you so impregnated with glass? I don't mind using up one of my big bits of clear ice because I have so much of it. Oh my god, I just thought of something. Okay, fuck. I might have already mentioned tonight that I accidentally deleted some video, and I thought I had a cunning workaround, and I fucking don't. God damn it. Ugh. Oh, you're a glass blower. Okay. That is the thing. Oh yeah, and I think you actually did mention something about glass blowing on another stream. Issue is slivers snap into multiple pieces when you try to remove. Yeah, okay. Yep. Damn, yeah. Oh, what's that thing that you can do when you're blowing glass? You can milk glass, you drop molten glass into water and it forms this weird thing. There's like a heavy drop and a long tail. It looks like a weird tadpole or sperm. It's called a Prince Edward drop or something like that. And it has just the weirdest fucking properties. I knew you'd know it, Dontron. Prince Rupert's drop. There you go. It has the weirdest properties. So basically, it's like it looks like a weird tadpole or sperm. There's a blob of ice and a long wiggly tail, and you get it by dropping it in thing, and you get it out, and the head can be. You can apply massive crushing force to it, and it won't rupture. Like it can withstand absurd, massive crushing force, and it won't break. But then you've got this long tail, and then if you get some snips and cut the tail, the shockwave will go through, and the whole thing will instantly shatter. There's wild as hell videos of it online. It is just an amazing, just out there bit of physics because it's in constant tension. Yeah. The glass pulling against itself because of the tension makes it strong. Yeah, it's so weird. It's, you know what? I could probably find a video on YouTube that won't get me content match. Let's see. Prince Rupert drop. Okay. We will set the sound off. I'm just gonna try and find. I don't want the. I think I found the right bit I want to show. Hey, dude, what are you doing here? Is this it? No, dude, that's not the visuals I want. Oh, smarter every day, doing it at 130,000 frames a second. Where are we? Okay. So I'm going to show it. Justin, sorry, hello. You've got some glass from Italy. Mass-produced glass doesn't reach the art of blown glass. Yes, true. What's this? Things like climate change. Yeah, every coastal area is probably in a lot of pressure. Oh, Dontron with some history trivia. Why were glass blowers located in Murano? I need to know. I just love you as a glass blower. No arcane glass blower history. That's what it's all about. The Italian government forced them because the fires. They all had to live in the same place because they caused so many fires. That's fucking hilarious. That was not the answer I was expecting. I thought it was going to be because of the quality of the sand in the area or something. It's like, no, they kept burning shit down. All right, so I found a little bit of video, and maybe if I just have it on screen, I'm not going to get content matched. We'll see how I go. So, okay, where are we? I'm just even going to make it a little bit smaller. Ooh. Do I want that one? That one? That one. All right. So I'm deliberately making it a bit smaller so there's less chance of me getting content matched. But yes, so that shape you see there, that long tail and knob, you can apply massive crushing force on that drop and it won't break. But you clip what you're seeing here, someone's about to clip the long tail and it just explodes. It fucking explodes. And here's high speed. You can see it travels down it into the thing and it just fucking explodes. Slow down even more and it's douche. It's just an amazing bit of physics. And we'll go around. So I just want to show that. So yeah. Yeah, glass blowing back and full on forge with apprentices manning the bellows. Yeah. Justin, autocracy and Italy do kind of seem to go hand in hand over the centuries. Oh yes, actually, Dontron. Yeah, no, that when you see how the way that shattered and exploded into tiny fragments, yeah, that would understand why a glass blower has a lot of little fragments in their system. Do you get the thing with the fragments go through like your lymphatic system? Oh yeah, no, I actually know Destin's hyper conservative. I am thoroughly aware of that. I was just using the actual visual, but yeah, I am aware Destin is like hyper conservative. Yeah, no, Justin, it's a YouTube channel called Smarter Every Day that does have some good science and physics and engineering trivia on it, but the dude is hyper conservative. So Heine was sharing, and I'm going to share it here. Where are we going? A beautiful little glass blown piece that Heine has. That's nice. That's very nice. I like it. And yes, Dontron Destiny, from what I know about them, is yeah, the worst. It is beautiful, isn't it? It's a really nice bit of artisan glass blowing. So yeah. Oh, see, this is why I have the streams, finding shit like this. That technique's known as reticello. Nice. Tony says it's about 30 centimeters high. Nice. And yeah, Justin, there are a shit ton of hyper conservatives on YouTube's. Oh, neat. Kirsten's got an awesome thing to show us too, which is what I'm all about, the showing of awesome things. Discord. Do that. Okay, don't need that anymore. Gosling recently, this weird thing about Ryan Gosling playing Ken in Barbie. Ryan Gosling recently laughed off being told he's too old to play Ken. I'd say if people don't want to play with Ken, there are many other Kens to play with. It's funny, kind of pearl clutching. Like, you ever thought about Ken before this? Everyone was fine for him to have a job that's nothing. Suddenly it's like, oh no, we cared about Ken the whole time. No, you didn't. You never cared. You never cared. Barbie never fucked with Ken. That's the point. If you ever really cared about Ken, you'd know that nobody cared about Ken. So your hypocrisy is exposed. This is why his story must be told. I care about the dude now. I'm like his representative. Ken couldn't show up to receive this award, so I'm here to accept it for him. Ryan Gosling is funny, basically, I think. Oh, yeah, sorry. I didn't realize you weren't in the Discord. Let's oh god, this is where I have to do the invite. Copy. All right, sorry. For anyone who's not in the Discord, that's an invite to the Discord. Oh, no, I would Justin, Jordan Shanks's jawline. Oh my god. He is a Ken doll. He is absolutely a Ken doll with that goddamn jawline. He could definitely be Aussie Ken. No two ways about it. Nice. Dontron's in the Discord. Yeah. Oh my god. That has an absolutely unnatural jawline. All right, time for some sooty water. Hydrate before bedtime. Oh yeah, it's like when someone said he was a model, and I'm like, well, duh. With jawline you could sharpen a chef's blade on. Oh, nice. You had a beer with him. Good. Okay. He's the American dad jawline in your life. Oh, nice. Sorry, I have to show this. Oh, that's on Imgur. Okay. Yeah, right. Cool. I need to share this. A pendant Dontron made recently. Look at that. That's beautiful. That is some nice work right there. Nicely done, my man. Oh, Justin, did you only just join the Discord too? All right. Well, geez, I'm really glad I put the link out there tonight. There you go. is this one you shared, Dontron? Is this a pipe? Is this what we're looking at here? I'm going to share it on the screen. It was my guess that this was a pipe, or is it something else? Honestly, Justin, I hadn't used Discord until recently, but it's just a fun thing where you can share stuff. Like you'll see the channels in there, just general chat stuff and memes and cocktails and whatevs. All right, so that is a pipe. I thought it was pipe. You'd love to make pure art pieces, but yeah, functional glass. Of course, it's going to bring in money. Of course. But again, very cool looking pipe. I like it. All right. All right. I feel culturally enriched tonight. You can make a nice cultural piece, and just by sinking a bowl in it doubles the value. Commerce, man. Commerce. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? God damn. Yeah. I love because glass blowing is such an old human art, and there's so much to be done in it. It's from pure art to pure function to a beautiful meld in the middle of artistic functional pieces. It's pretty wild stuff. Yes, it is. It's like, well, it's one of the original industrial arts. I know cultural anthropologists, they believe that the whole glass thing probably came from campfires on a beach where it melted the sand, and the next day people went, well, this is pretty wild. What caused this? And then they started to work out what caused it, and then they started to do it deliberately and manipulate it. So it's very old industrial art. So, okay. Kirsten put a thing in the thread. Oh, these are buttons. All right, I have to share these. Wild button collection. Pipes and bongs is where the money is in glass blowing. But this very cool button collection from Kirsten. There's another shot where we get it a bit bigger. Buttons, so many buttons. It's a great collection of buttons. Again, even buttons are amazing because at various points they were made of bone and ivory and glass. Of course, they're all made of plastic now. But again, there's a history of buttons as art and craft. Buttons can be amazing. All right. Oh yes, porcelain. Yeah. That's a. Again, that's an amazing thing. Again, because we call it we call it China because that was where the art originated, and for the longest time, nobody in the West knew how it was done. It was what was the two big things China had? Porcelain and silk, and for the longest time, no one in the West knew how they did it, how it was made. That's where they come from, Kirsten. The old lady who had those cut buttons off every garment she found. Yeah. Well, honestly, because these shirts, which come from some Chinese factory, and the buttons are on average put on very dodgy. So I have recently learned how to sew buttons, but I need to do it a few more times to get better at it. Because the buttons are always coming off these because they're put on in a fairly dodgy manner. So I need to practice to be better at sewing buttons. Yeah, in economic terms, silk was amazing. And for the longest time, tea was a big thing too. The English didn't know how to grow tea, and they couldn't grow it in England. But then when they colonized India, they could grow it in India. That's the thing. There's various, well, I want to say reading. I've been listening to audiobooks this year far more than I ever have before. And there's a series of fantasy books. It's set in like the 18th century, and it's close to historically accurate, except dragons are real. And there are all these different breeds of dragon, and the most noble ones come from China. And yeah, so the whole thing with the Chinese dragons is really an equivalence to the historic silk and porcelain trade, except it's dragons. Oh my gosh. The Ronco pocket sewing machines. Yes. Yes. Yeah, and that's what I do. Yeah, multitasking with audiobooks, driving particularly, or even commuting on the tram into work. And yeah, audiobooks. I've become more than a tad obsessed with the Expanse books. I'm mostly listening to science fiction. I try to throw in a few non-fictions. Every now and then, like I'm subscribed to Audible, and they do the free book of the month, and it's like, man, they're always like romances or coming of age stories. And I did listen to a couple of them, and they were fine. It's like it's what they throw in as the free book every month, or self-help things, which I don't get. And yes, when I'm doing domestic tasks, I'll have an audiobook on. Yes. You like the bodice ripper books read by a proper English gent. Nice. I do podcasts as well. I can do more of my day job work while listening to podcasts because I don't care if I'm not 100% taking the podcast in. But with the audiobooks, I want to take it in as much as possible. So I won't listen to podcasts if I'm working, but I'll listen to podcasts driving, walking, on the tram, or if I'm just like doing household chores. Oh, yes. Actually, that does sound good. Sex bits read by a proper English gentleman. Now I want to find some of those because that sounds good. But yeah, I've particularly been enjoying the Expanse books. I did 2 in a row of the Expanse books, and some other things by SF writers. A horror one called Double Dead by Chuck Wendig, which is like vampires versus zombies by the sounds of it. And another American writer I like, John Scalzi. His most recent, I've listened to a couple audiobooks written by him. His most recent one apparently won some big awards. It's called the Kaiju Preservation Society. So, oh yes, getting them through a library card rocks. Yes, audiobooks through libraries for sure. Oh yes, Justin, you can absolutely get some incredibly high quality podcasts that you can learn shit from. Okay, fair enough. All right. I'm going to stay. Tickle in my nose. Speaking of Star Trek, Simpson shitposting dude who'd only react to past with pictures of golden gem encrusted Homer Simpson. Yes, the golden gem Homer Simpson is a good one. Oh, yeah. I have not listened to it, but I've heard about it and it sounds good. Podcast My Dad Wrote a Porno. Yeah. There you go. Dontron with Gold Homer as the avatar. Yes. No, Safa, you literally you sign up to a library and you can borrow audiobooks. It's a thing to do. All right, so you're listening to Bridgerton style ones with sex. But yes, in a library you're renting them, so you have access to them for X amount of time. But it's absolutely a thing to do. Borrow audiobooks from a library. There was a weird hanging bit of skin on my thumb that I just bit off. Sorry. that is a class recommendation. Listening to My Dad Wrote a Porno while driving you, and you actually had to pull over to laugh. Maybe you're saying that's cannibalism. Honestly, when you said that, the first thought that popped into my head was, does bodily fluids count as cannibalism? If so, ooh. Yes, please, Dontron. Single worst glass blowing injury. Of course, I want to hear about your single worst glass blowing. This is a fucking killer stream. Thank you, everyone, for taking part in the stream tonight. This is just a great end to the weekend. There's still some more skin there. So Justin, you had a car full of people listening to Dad Wrote a Porno. That would, as a group listening session, that would be quite funny. All right, so Dontron is giving you the story of the worst glass blowing injury. Making a slide bowl for someone, attach the bowl to the stem, and you were checking a side and top angle, and it slipped right into the curve of the hand between the index finger and thumb. So it was still hot and third-degree burn. Oh, you would feel that for so long. Oh my God. But that's what I'm saying, Justin. If bodily fluids is cannibalism, and you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. You know exactly what I'm saying. Oh. And burns are the worst. Although I could just imagine 2 months, a burn in an area that needs to be flexible. That would fucking suck so much. Dr. Abigail, you say ew, but yeah, right circumstances. All right. I was only talking about burns, minor burns. I do remember actually with both my young'uns, they actually got an excellent lesson when they were like with the oven. Like, when you're cooking stuff in the oven, the glass front of the oven actually gets really hot, and the light was on there, and they were fascinated with the fact I was cooking something. I wanted to go, I was going, no, you can't touch it. It's like, don't. And both of them, probably about a year apart because they're different ages, but both of them at one point just touched an index finger to the glass door of the oven. Wasn't a bad burn, but both of them got a blister on the tip of their finger. So what that meant was not only did the burn hurt, but they had a couple of days of the tip of the finger being really sensitive and causing them pain whenever they touch something. And I tell you what, that's the best fucking education. Like, it was so good. They didn't get a bad burn. They got like a tiny one, but it was right on the tip of the finger. So for a couple of days afterwards, every time they touched something, it was pain. I was like, well, there you go. Don't touch the oven. And when I tell you don't touch something, don't touch it. So I think that was a pretty good lesson for both of them. Painful lesson, to be sure. Oh, no. Oh, Justin, I just started reading and I'm horrified. And a mate had deep thermal, full thickness burns. Oh, oh. Yeah, no, I had a couple people growing up, not a whole body, but really, really quite significant burns to big parts of their body. And yeah, so that's that permanent scarring you get from those burns, and you never have the same flexibility in the skin either. Yeah, I had one friend who had it was the hand, one was the arm. One guy had it, and it was from a kid pulling off a pot of boiling water from the stove when they were little, and it was like burns right down one side of the face, the neck, and right down one arm. I was like, God damn. Yeah, no, it's burns fucking suck. And I've only had minor ones, but yeah. Oh yeah, Dontron did the same thing. Yeah. It's a thing. Kids pull boiling water off the stove, and oh my God, it's just so full on. Yeah, that fortunately it doesn't happen that often, but you get it. Kids pull it because the handle of the pot's sticking out and they reach up and pull it down. It's just like a parent's fucking nightmare. Yeah, it's so it's so full on. I think the worst thing I had with my kids, young Mazangri, how old would she have been? About 13 or something. She was in holiday program, and the kids were on some excursion. They're actually in the park. They were in the park around Melbourne Museum because they're doing stuff in Melbourne Museum, but they're on a break and they were in a park, and they're running around, and young Ms. Angry and some young lad were running in opposite directions, and somehow they managed to run right into each other, and their foreheads clashed while they were running at full speed, and both of them got a gash open up through their eyebrow and scalp. I've had scalp wounds. Scalp wounds bleed a lot. So these two kids have run along and smashed heads into each other, both fallen on the ground, screaming, crying, blood everywhere. Turns out not very serious injuries, but a lot of blood. And again, like a nightmare scenario for the young folk who were monitoring the holiday program. And yeah, by the time I heard about it, and by the time I got to the hospital, they'd already been patched up. And so, you know, some people do that thing where they shave a line through their eyebrow. Young Ms. Angry doesn't have to do that because she has a scar that goes right through her eyebrow. And yes, the wrestlers do the razor blade thing because it looks really dramatic. They hide just an edge of a razor blade somewhere here. And when they get hit, they go, oh, and cut themselves on the forehead. You would see a lot of the classic wrestlers with just masses of scar tissue on their forehead because they do these little cuts across their scalp because it looks super dramatic. But they ultimately end up with just ridiculous amounts of scar tissue on their forehead. Again, long-termers will know the story of when I was in high school and I got hit in the head with a discus. That was a lot of fun. Oh yeah, not as common as it used to be. It's like an 80s, 90s thing. The cutting yourself on the forehead is a much more 80s, 90s thing. But yeah, when I was in high school, I got hit in the head with a discus. Just barely glanced off my head, but oh my God, knocked me down and blood everywhere. And everyone thought I was dead. And in fact, the tiniest difference, if instead of skipping off my head, if it had hit the back of my head, it probably would have killed me. If it had come in like that instead of that, it probably would have killed me. So if you believe in multiverse theory, there are multiple universes where I got killed by I got killed by a discus. Oh gosh, I just wondered what this was. Okay, I'm going to share it. In line with what we were saying, this is an extreme one. This is not what I was thinking of. So this is a wrestler who was known as Abdullah the Butcher. And I don't even know if that's on the Discord. I don't know if you can even see it on here, but he scarred up the top of his shaved head. A lot of them had much more subtle scars, but they were on their forehead. I remember a bunch of them having just masses of scar tissue on their forehead. Hey, Justin, how you doing? Oh, man, that is so fucking good. So I was just knocking off the last little bit of a liqueur I made a couple of months ago because I have another one in one of my barrels, which will be ready in, I don't know, 2 weeks. So fucking yum. So Justin, fascinating things in Aussie politics. Oh yeah, Berejiklian, corrupt behaviour. Nazi symbols have been banned. Voice referendum. Yeah, there is a lot going on, definitely. Crash the thread. Oh, okay. No, it is. Look, honestly, okay. So it certainly happened in Victoria, and it might be coming in federally. Nazi symbols like the swastika and doing the Hitler salute, actually being illegal. I think there is value in doing that because these pieces of shit just go around parading their Nazi fuckery. It's not the end. It's not the end. It's a start. Actually, banning the open display of Nazi imagery is a start. It's not going to solve the problem. Here's the thing. I'm not exactly sure what you mean about destruction, Dontron. But the open display of Nazi imagery is the people who do it are just dangerous. Look, remembrance. We don't, but we don't need statues of Hitler to remember things. So the idea of there being statues honoring Confederates in the US is fucked, as far as I'm concerned. I guess I'm less full on about criminalizing, a Confederate flag, but Nazi imagery, because the people who want to do that are dangerous. We now know because there've been mass shooters and whatnot. We know the people who want to openly parade Nazi shit are actually dangerous. So banning the open display of Nazi imagery is not the end, but it is a start towards not letting these pieces of shit have free reign. But yes, all I'd say is we don't need statues and we don't need flags flying to remember the horrors of extremism. And Dontron, you're right. I think the overwhelming majority of Confederate statues were made in the 20th century. There was a move in the early 20th century to do it. And as the Black Rights Movement picked up in the 60s. Yeah. But yeah, it's the weird thing. The overwhelming majority of Confederate imagery in the US is from the 20th century. Yeah, Justin, if we fight and win a war against them, yeah, we're over ban it. And also, I did want to highlight, you threw it in. I did see it, Justin. You're boasting, and I like it. I like it. Having a boast. You had a naughty weekend at a luxury room in the Hilton. Go you, big guy. Go you. I just wanted to shout that out. You needed us to know, and I think we needed to know. That's good. God damn. You know, I'm just throwing it out there. I make some good drinks. Well, see, I think Safa, when you're talking about banning those images after World War II, I think after World War II, most people thought we wouldn't have to, because who the fuck would fly them and show them and whatnot? But we underestimated how fucked people were, basically. Oh, fucking yum. I make good drinks. Anyway, palate cleanser, soda water. Ratchet up. So, yeah, the whole thing. Heidi, no one's asking to destroy things like the V2 or the Jet. We're just saying, like, pieces of shit should not freely be flying swastikas and doing their Hitler salutes on the steps of Parliament, for instance. Yeah, again, it's weird. It is such a loser ideology. And in fact, the Confederate ideology is much worse, more pathetic loser ideology than even Nazi ideology. Yeah, it is super fucking weird. I do love winding up the sort of fuckwit who wants to promote the Confederate flag. I want to show them, because I think it is in a museum somewhere. The white flag of surrender. It was like the final surrender of the Confederates. Whenever some dickhead's going to be, oh, my heritage, the Confederate flag, just show them the white flag and go, no, that's your heritage. That's your Confederate heritage right there, you fucking loser. Oh, Justin, I do bespoke cocktails. That is absolutely a thing I do. Yeah, you just got to tell me the sort of things you like. I've done that a few times for friends, actually. Creating, I think, lots of. Oh yes, that's a weird thing that came out quite some period after the Civil War. The Noble Lost Cause thing. Jesus Christ, that's fucked. So many fucked people. It's okay. This is always weird because when people say based, what they usually mean is someone who agrees with my ideology. Interestingly, you get people on both the left and right who say it. And so, yeah, when I've had people who weren't that familiar with the term, and they were, cool, progressive people, and someone said, yeah, what you did was based, and they're going, I guess that's cool. I said, yeah, just be careful, because the term is also used by absolute horrible far right people as well. So yeah, it's a weird old thing. Safa, it's a funny thing. Also, German neo-Nazis who aren't allowed to use Nazi symbology because they'll be thrown in prison if they do, they will use the Confederate flag as a proxy for Nazi symbolism. So that's what it is. It's a symbol of oppression and horrible. And yes, Dontron, it's context. based but not just, but so many things are context, because there's certain things that in context 100% on board, yeah, you be cool, but without context you can see things and go, what the fuck, what was that about, what are you doing there? No, Robert Evans loves saying based, and he's saying it from a left-wing perspective. And he's bay. No, but based is used by both the left and the right, and in simple terms, this is a person who's conforming to my ideology. And I love, because also Robert Evans often uses it jokingly, ironically, like when a right winger says something and they don't seem to understand that they're saying something that's pro-union or pro-working class. He's going, yes, they're based. Yes, Robert Evans is the guy with the Behind the Bastards podcast. Yes. Justin, a Nazi material historian. The whole thing. See, Justin, as soon as someone starts prevaricating and justifying why they have Nazi memorabilia, it gets a bit weird. Of course, from an historical perspective, we keep things. And yes, certainly some soldiers, some Allied soldiers who were involved in the European theatre commandeered, shall we say, looted, you might say, some Nazi shit. Oh yes, no, Chud is definitely negative. Chud is from an 80s or 90s direct-to-video schlock movie, and it's an acronym that means cannibalistic humanoid underground dwellers. It was these monsters that lived in the sewers and ate people. But Chud is just Chud is someone you don't like. Based is someone you do like. Chud is someone you don't like. Chud also has connotations of being overly macho as well, and just not very intelligent. There you go, Don John. You've got a Nazi helmet. Oh, that's a fucking memento, dude. That is a fucking memento right there. You remember Chud. Yeah, that was a straight to video one. Oh my god. Cannibalistic humanoid underground dwellers. And there were a whole bunch of them. They were all trying to cash in on the thing. That was the early days of video, like the 80s. Yeah. Justin, a Chud's basically a meathead. In really simple terms, a Chud's a meathead. Yeah. You've got it. You've definitely got it. But you're basically saying like quite unintelligent, probably very violent, because again, the Chuds were eating people in the movie Chud. Of all the things, I wouldn't have predicted at the start of the stream we would be talking about. Now I'm going to look it up. When did it come out? Chud movie. When did it come out? 84. That's actually older than I thought. Cannibalistic humanoid underground dwellers. Released direct to video in 1984. 5.6 out of 10 on Internet Movie Database. 29% on Rotten Tomatoes. 57 out of 100 on Metacritic. Oh my god. Oh, and yes, the sequel, Chud 2, was called Chud 2 was subtitled Bud the Chud. Oh my friggin' god, honestly. I had actually forgotten there was a sequel, but as soon as I saw it, I remembered, oh yeah, Bud the Chud. I actually remember. I actually never saw them. I didn't see Chud. I didn't see Chud 2. And there were a bunch of spin-off / rip-offs. I think one was called Ghoulies or something. Yeah, it's like in the direct-to-video days in the 80s, if there was something that was mildly successful, there would be a whole bunch of knockoffs of it. Like, honestly, Chud was probably a knockoff of Gremlins, quite honestly. Justin, your granddad had a grenade that they played with as a kid. Particularly in England, where there was so much ordnance after World War II, unexploded ordnance, there were a whole bunch of stories over the decades where someone had something on their mantelpiece that was a fucking bomb and they thought it was safe. And one day it fell off the mantelpiece and fucking exploded because it wasn't safe. It was a bomb. Oh, gosh. Atomwaffen are an extremely violent neo-Nazi offshoot. They literally regard themselves as Nazi soldiers. I didn't hear that they had dirty bomb materials. I know they've been caught with significant amounts of weapons. Oh, nice. Megalich, we're getting some AI chuds. These are actually pretty cool. I'm going to show them in a sec. I'm just loading them. So the prompt was a realistic picture of a mud person crawling on all fours out of a swamp. Yep, that's an interesting mud person with an interesting number of fingers. Standard AI art thing, give someone an interesting number of fingers. Yeah, Justin, Stephen Crowder's definitely a chud. Oh, this one's quite good. Coming out of the mud. Oh, I hear beeps. There's obviously more appearing. We got one more too. Oh god, that's some fun right there. Ooh. Oh my god. Oh god, so many more. What would you change the prompt a bit? Mud person crawling on all fours out of a swamp with a menacing expression. Yeah, so they are getting a bit creepier. These do fucking vibe like the 80s chud. Oh yes, Dontron. Crowded divorce arc where we find out, huge surprise, he's abusive. Yeah, it's kind of like we occasionally get surprised that some dude who was being a with it lefty and stuff turns out to be a horrible abusive person. But when they're a right-wing mouthpiece, it's never a surprise when we get evidence that they're a horrible abusive person. Anyway, more chuds. Sorry, I just feel like showing off more of these chuds, and I hear so many of them. Oh, that's got a bit of Creature from the Black Lagoon vibe to it. This one, yeah, he's not nice. That's Beast from 20,000 Fathoms in the Mud. He's not nice at all. And one more. Yeah, that is a really interesting sort of jaw and tooth arrangement. But again, quite unsettling. Oh my god, what's this guy? Sorry, thought I'd shown them all. There's one more, and this one's very unsettling. I find this one. Oh god, I feel like I'm going to have dreams tonight with this guy in it. That's bad. I don't like that guy. And oh god, they just keep coming. Oh god, they just keep coming. A realistic picture of a mud person crawling on all fours out of a swamp with a monstrous appearance and features. Oh god, these guys are definitely going to be in my dreams tonight. Thanks, Megaleech. I'm just loading some more things that are definitely going to appear in my dreams tonight. Oh God, that trad stuff. Yeah, the trad wife and the trad Catholic and stuff. That's messed up. Yeah. Yep. All right. So more mud monsters. Ugh. Oh, that one's actually got a little bit of an HR Giga theme in it. What's this one? Oh, yeah, he's just angry. That's Stephen Crowder right there. That is a right winger on YouTube. All the beeps. There's so many more appearing. This one, that's got a Gollum vibe. A little bit of a smile. That one's got a bit of a Gollum vibe. And I got one more loaded. Oh, yeah, that's very reptilian, that one. Very interesting. But I heard a bunch more. So there's a bunch more of oh God. Huge size. I've changed the prompt a little. Realistic picture of a mud person crawling on all fours out of a swamp with a monstrous appearance and features and a huge size. Oh God. These are all sorts of... Yeah, and Megaleech's last comment is, that's enough of those. Oh, I heard the Gollum game is just absolutely terrible. All right, so this one. That just looks like an old man I've seen in the park. What else do we have? Oh my God, that looks like the Baron Harkonnen from Dune. That's what that immediately makes me think of. Baron Harkonnen from Dune. Oof. That's a whole thing. Got a couple more. All right. Okay, we're talking about Gollum. That one has a Gollum vibe to me. There's one more. Before Megaleech said that's enough of those. Oh yeah, that's a shit monster. That one's literally made of shit. It's not actually made of mud. That one is literally composed of shit. Oh my God. Safa, these are all on the Discord. We've got a Discord thread of AI generated images. So they are there for posterity. Yes. Oh God, I saw the trailer. Christopher Walken's The Emperor. Yes. Oh my God, I'm fucking hanging out. Because literally the last movie I saw in the cinema was Dune Part 1. And I've been very iffy about cinemas, recirculated air, crowds of people, COVID. But Dune Part 2 might get me to go to the cinema again. Because it's looking pretty fucking cool. And I am I'm a Christopher Walken groupie. For no apparent reason today, I just watched the video of Christopher Walken dancing in the Fatboy Slim Weapon of Choice video. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Christopher Walken with the moves. Guy's so fucking cool, honestly. So yeah, so for these, my God, there is... Sorry, I'm just thinking of if I was in Minecraft... And I don't know, there may have been things you could consume in Minecraft that were like mushroom based. I could probably spend hours going back through those AI images, which are all saved on Discord. I liked the Robert Pattinson Batman. I watched it on the streaming service on my TV rather than the cinema, but I did like the Robert Pattinson Batman movie, actually. Also, just generally think Robert Pattinson is pretty good in very general terms. So I need to watch Lighthouse. I still haven't watched that Lighthouse film. that has Robert Pattinson and what's his face in it? It's the Green Goblin in the Spider-Man movies. Justin. Oh yeah, no, a home theater. Oh God, sorry. Now you've got me jealous, Justin, that you've built yourself a home theater. You know, I've got a decent TV and a decent sound bar, nothing over the top, but held to the yes. Like if I win lotto, I would fucking have a fucking home theater. Thank you, Dontron. Willem Dafoe. Why the fuck could I not remember Willem Dafoe's name? I need to watch Lighthouse. I've never actually watched it. And it really interests me and I want to watch it. Okay, so finished my soda water. It's 10 o'clock and I'm going into the office tomorrow against my better fucking judgment. It's now time for the ceremonial eating of the cherry, which means I'm going to go to bed. Dontron, you cheated. You had to Google. I'd blanked on his name. Yeah. So, Justin, you're still a work in progress in your home theater. Nice. All right. So, honestly, I have thoroughly enjoyed. I usually enjoy the streams. Tonight's been really good. And I thank you all, everyone who's been really actively participating in it. It's been a really fucking good time tonight. You're all fucking awesome. I'm going to eat the cherry, which is the symbolic ending of the stream. And maybe see you fine folk another time. And we can have discourse on the Discord, if you like, in the meantime. Probably back on Tuesday. Tomorrow night's TV night with Mrs. Angry. What are we probably watching? Star Trek, Strange New Worlds. Maybe I think the new Witcher is on Discord. So what did I say? Discord on Netflix. A few things. Musical Aviator. You've been practicing trumpet, which is good. And I hope we've been keeping you company while you did it. So I really want to say this. Like, I normally enjoy the streams. They're normally good. I honestly feel like tonight was a top tier stream. It was a lot of fun. Everyone was very active and very involved. We did things. You're all very cool people. And that's why I do these streams. So we get to hang out and oh my God, it was good. It was good. As Jeff Kennett, not Jeff Kennett. My God, fuck Jeff Fennick, the boxer, showing my age, he would say, I love yous all. So please take care, everyone. If you're around during the week, I'll be around during the week. Tuesday, probably the next time. But until I see you